Hello, dear viewer. Welcome to yet another moment of cursory look at salient matters in the Nigerian society. It's the big issue on Osrc TV. I am Obi Chukwemeka Uti. Football, the sport that binds Nigerians together, breaking the barriers of religious, ethnic, political, and socio-economic divides, is at the center stage. Following the exit of the Super Eagles from AFCON 2022, all attention and hope shifted to qualifying for the World Cup in Qatar. In the second time, the Super Eagles have failed to qualify for a World Cup since Nigeria's first attendance in 1994. Nigeria dropped out of the 1998 World Cup at the second round and couldn't go beyond the group stage at the 2002 edition. In 2006, the Super Eagles failed to qualify but fought to return to the World Tournament in 2010. 2014 and 2018 yet didn't go beyond the group stage. And as we experienced it few days ago, the Super Eagles will not be hoisting the Nigerian flag in Qatar when the 2022 World Cup begins. Nigerian fans were, however, disappointed at the chance to make the World Cup was dashed after the Super Eagles' encounter with the Black Stars of Ghana. Super Eagles' failure to qualify for the World Cup and aftermath behavior of Nigeria's soccer fans is our focus today on the big issue. Leading the conversation in this edition is a former Nigerian international footballer who played for Morocco Swallows in South Africa, Eimba, Sharks, BCC Lions, Iwayao National, now Heartland FC, among others. He was also at a time the media officer of the Super Eagles. He is Dr. Ida Peterside. You're welcome to the big issue.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Now, let's go straight to the focus today. As a professional of many years, how would you adjudge the latest outing of the Super Eagles?
If I want to rate them, they didn't qualify, so there's nothing to rate. You start with zero. They didn't when you don't qualify. When you don't qualify for a major tournament, then something is really very wrong. You know, when we all saw the features that paired the teams, one of the teams that everyone felt, excuse me, felt should qualify is the Super Eagles. You know, with the talents we have great players playing in great clubs around the world. You know, we have big name players now, and everyone expected us to stroll into the World Cup. But unfortunately, that didn't happen, and it's quite disappointing. You can see it in the faces of everyone. Everyone is disappointed that this supposedly great team did not qualify for the World Cup, and we're still mourning. We still don't feel it's a disaster, and it's quite heartbreaking.
Exactly. Like you said, Nigeria can boast of more Europe-based players than any other African nation. The team had many international players on board, yet we struggle at the national level.
Yeah.
Where is the disconnect?
It's a tough call because I've been able to speak to one or two of the coaches of the national team, and when you hear them speak, they tell you we prepared properly, we prepared for this game, we had confidence we were going to win, we did everything necessary to win the game. But I know no matter how well you have a coach, no matter how well you have a leader, the onions still rest on the players to perform on the pitch. I've never seen a coach that wears a jersey and goes to play. You know, we've seen very bad coaches and very good players, and the players would cover the coaches. And we've seen very bad players with a good coach, and the coach would cover the players. It's a teamwork. Once the coach is done his preparation, done all he needs to do, it's left for the players to perform. And frankly, I think the players' mother sleep. The mother sleep on Tuesday. They didn't come to the party. People would blame the coaches. Yes, we all blame the coaches, but the players would have to perform on the day. And on that particular day, they disappointed the whole of Nigeria.
On the day Nigeria were handed Ghana as their opponent in the last round of the
Yes.
2022 World Cup qualifier, we all breathed a sigh of relief, considering the fact that the Black Stars had just made an early exit from the Cup of Nations. Were the Super Eagles overconfident? For you, would you say, what would you say really went wrong?
Overconfidence might not be the word. The, the mistake we all made, we assumed that the Black Stars, just I'm listening to you and I say, because they were knocked out, did not mean that they were not good enough. We assumed that they were not good enough. So based on that assumption, our preparation was based on this team is not good enough. They got knocked out, like you just said. But a wise man regroups, a wise man recoups and say, I lost this investment, I lost that investment. Let me not do it the same way, which is what they did. I think they went back to the drawing board and took out time, invested time, invested sessions on how to get a result. I think we did the same thing, but for me, I'm just talking professionally. The pressure of the match got to them. The pressure of the match got to them, in the sense that, especially the crowd, I'm not sure in their lives they've ever played under that kind of pressure, or that kind of tension, or that kind of setting. I'm not sure. Even with European players, they will tell you, we've never seen a thing like this. We're like bees. On the day, the goalkeeper was shivering, the players were shaking. They had never seen a thing like. It's like you bringing me and asking me to address the nation. What will I tell them? You understand? They ask me, where is Boko Haram? I say, well, how do I know? Because it's too much for me. Exactly. I think that's what happened to these boys. They just chickened out. They were so scared to play. And based on a great information, even the goalkeeper at the beginning of the second half didn't want to come back to play. He said they should replace him in that kind of game. So that's how massive it was. So I think the fortune just didn't favor us on the day.
What do you think would have happened had that match been played in the South? It was obvious Ademola Lookman and Emmanuel Dennis struggled with the hot weather, in Abuja.
Yes. Again, when we have people that run our football, they must think and forget politics. The best place to have played this game would have been Uyo. It's as simple as that. Would have gone to Uyo. The weather is beautiful. The pitch is one of the best in the country. But the politicians wanted the glory in Abuja. They felt, let's come to Abuja where the big boys are here. They want to bam bam. I don't know what there's that song they say they want to bam bam or bam bam. I don't know. Okay, so they pulled it here. The pressure got to these boys. I'm telling you, the pressure got to these boys and they just couldn't perform.
Following this failure, because in other climes you need not be told to throw in the towel, like in Europe or America, for failure.
Nobody resigns in Nigeria. Your family members will say you're under a cost. Not only you, that's what I will tell you. Not only you, they resign. Others, they resign. Have you seen anybody resign in Nigeria? They say, who cost you? I mean, go back, go do the work. They go forget after a while. That's the mentality in Nigeria. No one wants to take responsibility for any wrongdoing. They will cost your village, your family. Will say, now that we're inside, you'll be the first person to resign. In Nigeria, you don't resign, they push you. They push you out.
Will this development be a credence to, what some have said, that a foreign coach would serve Nigeria better than a local one?
I don't believe that nonsense. Sorry to use my strong word. I don't believe that. We must train up ourselves. If we say foreign coach will serve Nigeria better, then we must have a foreign president. Then we must have a foreign senator. Then we must have because they're messing up now. right? All the leaders of our country, are they doing anything right? Why have they not resigned? Why have they not brought foreigners to come and replace themselves? They should bring a foreign governor, foreign this, foreign this. No, we need to encourage our own. We need to build up what we have. We need to take what we have to a level that it will fit into the global best practice. That's what I think.
You're a goalkeeper, an international one, for that matter.
I was.
At the Nations Cup, Maduka Okoye fumbled with a long-range shot against Tunisia. Against Ghana, Francis Uzoho, that many believe is better than Okoye, could not handle a straight shot from Thomas Partey. What is the problem with our goalkeeping department?
Again, I said from the bottom of my heart, we need, in the goalkeeping department, you need maturity. The keepers mature with time and mature with age. Ozoho is 22 years, Maduka is 22 years. It's not easy at that age. You understand? There's supposed to be, at this age, you are playing with feeding bottle when it concerns goalkeeping department. Goalkeepers begin to mature from 27, 28, and you find that most international goalkeepers are still playing at 35, 34, 36, 38, because in the six you mature with time. It was overwhelming for them, and again, the best bet for a goalkeeper in Nigeria, you must have played in the Nigerian league. You must play in the Nigerian, because Nigerian league is turbulent, absolutely turbulent. You play in the Nigerian league, you mature in the Nigerian league, and you grow. You grow with time. Some of us that played for Nigeria, we almost got to 35 before they even gave us one cap, to play, because we had big boys in goal for Nigeria. So it takes, you must be very mature. Look at the club side. Look at Manchester United. Their goalkeeper is 32 or thereabout. Look at Chelsea. Even Mendy is 28, 29. You need maturity to be, because the pressure will hit you, which was what happened to our goalkeepers.
Now let's talk about the NFF board. How complicit is the NFF board over Nigeria's failure to qualify for the second round of the last World Cup? The non-qualification for the 2022 edition and the below-average performance at the last Cup of Nations?
So we have to be realistic. We have to be realistic. When you mention, everybody's mentioning NFF. The reason why they are mentioning NFF is because the man Pinnick is very outspoken. Is there in front of the. I think you work in a radio television station. You hardly see your MD. You hardly see your MD. You see the reporters. You see the newscasters. These are the people you see. And now, when things go wrong, we know whom to hold. We say, this lady did not pronounce her words well. She got it wrong there. That's whom they see. But the problem with the Nigerian setting is that the NFF is too forward. They're in front of the camera. They're in front of the crowd. The president is in front of everyone, so he's taking the blame. But if he were not visible, they would not know what to blame. I'm sure, as a reporter, you watch the Premiership, maybe, yeah, you watch the English League, but you don't know the chairman of the English League. You know the clubs. So I think for me, the NFF, people might doubt they've not done anything wrong, in the sense that they've made provision. The players stay in the best hotels. The players have their kids. The players are paid their allowances. So why blame the officials? Your job is to perform. Come out and tell us that they did not give us soccer boots. Tell us they did not give us a hotel to stay. Tell us they did not pay our airfare when they came for the game. Then we can blame the FA, because it's an administrative problem. But that's not the point. The players are well taken off. They fly business class. They fly private jets. They come in 5-star hotels. Just win the game, man. Just win your game. Do your part and win the games.
Do you think, being an ex-international yourself, do you think Nigeria's ex-internationals are given sufficient opportunity to serve at administrative level of the game, like the NFF?
You are not giving power, you take it. You're not giving power, you take it. We're not taking it. No one has come out to take power. We just make noise behind the scene. I don't want to be an FF president, or else they would have seen me come like a bull. I'm aggressive when I want something. Nobody has come up to say, I want this power. Nobody will give it to you. So ex-players, you want power? Come and get it.
What is the price Nigeria will pay for not qualifying for the World Cup?
Oh my goodness gracious. Or just that we did not qualify. By the end of this month, end of April, we would have gotten $12 million just to start with. $12 million would have been deposited in the coffers of the NFF for preparation for that. We've lost that. Those of us that in media and are associated with the game would have opportunities. There will be radio, television houses that will give us jobs. Some of us would have traveled with our families to Qatar to go spend the holiday. We've been denied those. A whole lot of things. The joy of hoisting your flag at the big tournament. It's not there. Nigerian flag won't fly there. It's so much to lose. It's unbelievable. So much to lose. Yes.
All right. There was a time Principal's Cup was a mini World Cup in secondary schools, but today that has disappeared. What is the effect of the disappearance of school sports, Shell Cup and others?
Massive. When I was quite young, between 13 and 17, I played at the youth fund. I remember an incident when the first time I got to Lagos. I will never forget this. We got to Lagos with our youth team from Port Harcourt, and we got to Victoria Island, and we saw a signboard. We didn't know, and we said Victoria Island. We called it Victoria Island. We didn't know Lagos, but as we were driving on that bridge, that Victoria Island bridge, there's this, welcome to Victoria Island. Mm-hmm. So our players say, hey, see Island though. See, look at Victoria Island. Hey, these things shaped our lives. Just as humans, not just as sportsmen. It exposed us. It showed us the world and showed us the life ahead. And then we miss it. We must go back to school sports. We go back to Principal Cup, youth fund, school sports. We need these players to come to the ranks. And I hope that the Ministry of Sports can do that.
We're not the only nation missing out in Qatar 2022. Italy, Algeria, and Egypt won't be there as well. For you, what should be Nigeria's short and long-term plans, going forward?
Everybody says the same word, go back to the drawing board. They've not told us how the drawing board looks like. You hear, go back to the drawing board, go back to the drawing board. We need to begin to ask serious questions. Very serious questions. What is happening to our league? Whom are we producing? When we played, we would stay in camp. I remember years ago we would say in Ota, Obasanjo's camp, Obasanjo's farm. Then we would spend 2 months and 3 months. From there, we would travel to Kaduna, play against franchise Bs. And, they were molding us and building us, Finidi, Amunike. We're all playing at home. You need to go back and start from there. Get a home-based team, begin to expose them. We don't need all these foreign players. Not all of them. We saw some of them don't even understand the map of Lagos. You need to understand that playing for Nigeria is bigger than your father and your mother. We must go back and begin to replan.
Now, let's talk about the reactions of, the Nigerian soccer fans. Do you think the reaction of these fans, of Super Eagles
And
after that match
finally,
in
before I
Abuja
let you go, do
was
you think
overboard
the
and
reaction of
uncalled for?
fans of the Super
What
Eagles
would you say?
after
What do you
that
think
match was overboard
triggered
and
that
uncalled for?
reaction?
Yes, uncalled for, not acceptable. Absolutely, we must condone. We cannot condone violence. We cannot condone that kind of football. Yes, but when you when you raise up the hope of an angry man or a poor man, you give a poor man hope, and you deny him that hope. His true identity will show. It's quite unfortunate. We sympathize with them, the fans, and say, we are sorry. Those of us from the football fraternity, we're absolutely sorry for the pain we've caused these fans. And I want to appeal that there will be better days. There will always be better days.
Finally, before I let you go, what could be the import of this on Nigeria from the global football community, especially because someone reportedly died on that day?
Yes, well, it wasn't the fault of Nigeria. It wasn't the fault of our association. The man had a cardiac arrest. This can happen to anyone, even the fittest of them all. Once your heart fails, that's failed. My condolences to his family and the people of Zambia for the loss. But it didn't have anything to do with our game. It didn't have anything to do with that. It was just a health challenge.
So you don't think if that stampede hadn't happened that he might be alert?
No, he passed before the stampede. He passed way before the stampede. He passed when the players went in for the second half. Okay, as the players went in for the second half, they were walking towards the dressing room with two of his colleagues, and he just slumped. So it didn't have anything to do with the stampede. The stampede was wrong, but the death of the doctor didn't have anything to do with the stampede.
I have been speaking with a former professional football player and a consequential voice in the world of football, both locally and beyond the shores of Nigeria, Dr. Ida Peterside. Thank you for sharing your views with me on the big issue.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Our lead discussant has raised pertinent issues, that we would look at after the news update. Please join us again.
He just slumped. So he did.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on the news update. Oluwatoyin Omodara is my name. The Ramadan crescent moon has been sighted in Saudi Arabia. This means the holy month of Ramadan will officially begin tomorrow, Saturday, 2nd April 2022. Throughout the month, Muslims fast from just before the sunrise prayer to the sunset prayer. Muslims believe that Ramadan is a month in which the first verses of the Quran were revealed to the Prophet Muhammad more than 1,400 years ago. The fast entails abstinence from eating, drinking, smoking, and sexual relations to achieve greater taqwa or consciousness of God. Fasting is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, along with the Muslim declaration of faith, daily prayers, charity, and performing the Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca if physically and financially capable. Governors in the southwest region, led by the Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, have been commended for their various security initiatives, especially the Amotekun Corps. The Ondo State Commissioner for Environment, Mr. Sunday Akinwalere, who particularly hailed Governor Akeredolu for his resolve to ensure the protection of the people of the state and southwest region, said the Amotekun Corps remains the best solution to the security challenges facing the country. Akinwalere, while delivering a lecture at the first National Conference for Domestic and Ecotourism and Exhibition in Nigeria, held in Abuja with the theme Developing Sustainable Environment for Domestic and Ecotourism Growth in Nigeria, said it is obvious the police cannot unilaterally cope with the security challenges. The commissioner, who also charged Nigerians on responsible interaction with the environment, said it would prevent depletion of natural resources and allow long-term environment sustainability. He urged governments at all levels and critical stakeholders to ensure proper environmental management to enhance sustainable tourism development. The Court of Appeal sitting in Enugu has affirmed the judgment of Ebonyi High Court Abakaliki, which quashed a suit challenging the defection of Governor David Umahi and his deputy Dr. Kelechi Igwe to the All Progressives Congress. Governor Umahi and his deputy had on November 2020 left the PDP, a platform on which they were elected, to the APC, citing injustice by the PDP against the Southeast Zone. But the court, in a unanimous judgment delivered by Justice Bengare, held that Governor Umahi and his deputy have the right to move to any political party they so wished. It added that there was nowhere in the Constitution where the law barred a sitting governor from defecting to any political party. President Mohamed Bazoum of the Niger Republic has pledged his country's support to help Nigeria tackle banditry and other security threats. The president, during the visit to his Nigerian counterpart, President Muhammadu Buhari, said Nigeria's support towards the Multinational Joint Task Force (MNJTF) operation was successful due to its financial intervention. He said Nigeria and his country must modify their strategies to the emerging security threat in the area. During the meeting with Buhari and the governors, they discussed economic issues and security challenges facing the West African region. The death toll from a boat accident involving villagers fleeing attacks by gangs in Niger State has risen to 13 after 5 more bodies were recovered. Emergency services officials said an overloaded canoe carrying mostly women and children capsized in the river as they were fleeing raids on Guni and Kogbaku villages in Niger State. Head of the State Emergency Management Agency, Ibrahim Inga, said the bodies of 2 women and 6 children were recovered on Wednesday, while the search for 5 more missing passengers was ongoing. He said in all, 3 women and 10 children drowned in the mishap. Inga blamed the accident on overload and lack of maintenance, as the canoe was too old to carry such a number of passengers. And that's it on the news update. Join us by 7 for a comprehensive news report. But the big issue continues in a jiffy. Please stay with us.
an exciting video on my channel. Today I'll be sharing with you how the Nigerian fans scattered the stadium in Abuja after the Super Eagles were defeaters of Ghana in the World.
You're welcome back from that news break. It is the big issue on Osrc TV if you're just joining us. And our focus today is the Super Eagles' failure to qualify for the Qatar 2022 World Cup. And of course, the aftermath, of the behavior of Nigerian soccer fans after the loss. And on this segment of the show, Sunday Kolawole is right here to work with me. How are you, Sunday?
It's nice seeing you again. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us on the big issue once again.
Sunday, were you particularly disappointed?
Disappointed would be an understatement because patriotism, to a large extent, met disappointment. And so, what do you expect of one? Of course, I was disappointed.
Okay, it's all good. Let's hope for a better play next time.
Next
all right,
time, you say.
Panelists, yes, the next 4 years or so. Panelists for this session today, we have Mr. Henry Olonimoyo, a sports enthusiast. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you for inviting me.
We also have Otumba Akin Bobola, a former board member of the Nigerian Premier League and presently Director General, Sunshine Stars and Sunshine Queens. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here.
All right, let's kickstart by, referring to what our lead discussant said. He said something, yes, we were all disappointed. He said the behavior of the soccer fans was not, acceptable, but it was understandable. For you, as a sports, person, what do you say?
It's condemnable. That behavior is absolutely irresponsible and condemnable. In sports, you win, you lose, you draw, particularly football. To start destroying properties, our collective properties doesn't make sense.
Yeah, collective property.
And destroying the properties and our monuments, will not bring back the lost victory. So for me, I condemn it entirely, no matter the frustration. You don't, because somebody slaps you on the road, then you take a machete and machete him, you will go to jail. So what they did is criminal, is wrong, is absolutely irresponsible. And I beg to say that I don't think it's completely because we lost. Perhaps there's some pent-up anger, in the people, and they just use the opportunity of the loss, the frustration of the loss, to now ventilate their anger, and they misbehaved.
You are seeming to nod in agreement, Henry.
Yes, of course. We'll be kidding ourselves to think that it was just only a football matter that led to the aggression from the fans after the final whistle. There's this piled up aggression, frustration within the people. We also know that leading up to that particular day, the disaster that happened along the Abuja-Kaduna rail line, and many other things that happened in the country. But one must condemn seriously the aggression of the fans. It could even cost the nation sanctions, bans from the governing body of football in the world, that's FIFA, because it's a dangerous thing to do. What if life were lost? What if some of the players were injured? What if international degrees were injured in that fracas? So it's something, and again, it's also a call to action to our security agents. Whenever we have games of that nature, proper security must be on ground, in not just in numbers also, to ensure that they are able to curtail a crowd like that in the eventuality that people
because the stadium
want
was
to show
packed.
frustration. But as regards the result for that day, it was highly disappointing. And I saw it coming. I remember that in the first leg, I was telling people that whenever you have a game that has an away goal rule, there is a very important need for you to ensure you score away in the home of your opponent, because if you do not score in the home of your opponent, you are giving your opponent every incentive, every motivation to just get a goal by all means in your home, and then you'll be in trouble. You would need to score two. And the performance, people don't talk about it, but the performance in Kumasi was nothing to write home about. We did not trouble them as we should. And I must tell you, this is the weakest Ghanaian team we've ever faced in recent years. And this is one of the most talented Super Eagles team that we have ever had in recent years. And so, to have come through those two legs with only one goal to show for, it is bad. And not apart from that, also, you remember that the outside of Nigeria from the African Cup of Nations, one goal was what knocked us out. Now again, one goal knocked out this team. For a team that boasts a lot of attacking talents. I mean, past and present, some of them have even come out of retirement to come to that team. For us not to be able to overcome just a goal setback, it shows a lot about the coaching and the frame of mind of the boys.
I need to have your analysis of that. Most talented Super Eagles ever, weakest Black Stars ever, yet we had that outcome.
I don't agree with this, but that's his own opinion.
Yes. Of course.
I don't say most talented.
One of the most talented.
I see our Super Eagles as not compact and technically sound enough.
When you say Super Eagles, the players or the coach now, or all put together?
All put together.
Okay.
All put together. The present crop of Eagles, the ones that played against Ghana and Ghana, and the one that played against Ghana and Nigeria, for me, doesn't have much to show. I look at the team, I watched the match, both matches, and there's not one player that you can pick that was very outstanding, or like the days of Kanwan or Kocha, you will see people coming to do magic. When they go and get stuff, you see people that will rise up to the occasion. There was nobody to rise up to the occasion, so I wonder where the talent is.
So you agree with Dr. Peter's side that the players even modestly?
Well, I don't really know which angle Peter's side is coming from, but I know
that he didn't deliver.
Yeah, they didn't. I know we have a Super Eagles that is not up to what Nigerian Super Eagles should be.
Perhaps that was judging by sleep. Judging by just be attacking them.
Ghana played tactically better. Ghana was fitter. The Ghanaian players were fitter, and the Ghanaian players were determined. You could see determination, robust play, intensive football in the way they played. Nigerian players, a couple of them had no business in that team.
Really?
The left fullback had no business in that team. One Bassi that was changed, had no business in that team. A lot of, I can point about 4 or 5 of those players that are not better than players we have in the Nigerian Premier League. But because the coaches these days are lazy, unlike the coaches of those days that were willing to work. These ones just want to pick talents because they're in Europe. The mentality that they're in Europe is what is driving them to pick players. Forgetting that you can be in Europe and not be better than those here. America was there. And they distinguished themselves, they were outstanding, So it's high time we build our Super Eagles based on our Premier League, then we just spice it with some of these boys from abroad, because not all of them are quality enough.
Okay, so are you saying that perhaps the days when we had foreign coaches, we churned out better player, we did better compared to now that we're deciding to look inwards?
Let me tell you, I was discussing with my boss yesterday, the deputy governor, and I told him, I said, when you play up this indigenous thing, you don't look at the challenges that indigenous coaches will face. One, they face challenges of being undermined naturally.
By the people.
Naturally, a prophet is not recognized in his own country. It's a natural.
Should it be like that?
It's not.
in football.
It's there in the Bible. It's in every aspect of life. The way people will respect you when you go out of your territory. You know, they don't know you may not even have a penny in your pocket, but you're well dressed. But in your territory, they're your kidney. They said it to Jesus. Is he not the son of
Joseph?
You know, so that's one challenge. The other challenge is influences, external influences within your territory, obas, political leaders, everybody influencing you, relations and friends, people that you cannot say no to.
Does that make any difference even with a foreign coach? He will pay the foreign
no. A foreign coach will come. He knows nobody. He doesn't have a traditional ruler calling. He doesn't have.
Was that the case when you just mentioned that he
will pay the piper, calls the tune?
To some extent.
Okay.
Raw was stubborn. Raw wasn't the best of coaches, but Raw was stubborn. He refused to listen, and they allowed him because I was there in his contract. I don't know if you're getting the picture I'm painting.
Very well.
Raw was stubborn. He may not be as fantastic as other coaches, you know, but he was stubborn. He said, "This is what I want," and everybody abided. And somehow he was qualifying us. Somehow, I want to repeat that word. But in this case now, Guavon went to Cameroon. Guavon again woke up, and you cannot. I'm a stakeholder. I'm in the system. You cannot rule away the challenge of influences. You must play so person, because of so thing we want so person. And this mentality of going to source for players born outside Nigeria that you don't even know their capacity and background, players that are second-rated where they are in England or in France, you know, they are not champions where they are champions in wood. Then you bring them to Nigeria, you want them to dominate the scene. It doesn't make sense to me.
No. I beg to differ on the crop of talents that the present Super Eagles possess. I think we must realize that this is no longer 20 or 30 years ago now. Immigration is higher now than there was ever before. And for instance, I was taking a look at Arsenal Football Club, their reserve, their junior teams. You have a lot of Nigerian names in those teams. That means that Nigerians who left the country a decade ago, they are enrolling their children in the reserve teams of these clubs. Some of them are giving birth to children there. That means that we should be ready. We will see many more of this in the future. Probably in the time of the Finidi George or J.J. Okocha, Nigeria had a domestic league, and most of these people started from the league. But you see, in the last 10 years, we see now, even the two defenders on that day, they were not born here. Leon Balogun and Trustekong. And that is the trend that will continue. But where I'm really disturbed is, apart from the fact that there's a lack of leadership in the squad. We don't have people who are mentally strong to say this is what we want to do. I am confused that the Nigerian football team, we seem to have lost our footballing pattern. I used to know that in the USA '94, Nigeria was widely heralded as the most entertaining team in that competition. Even in the 1996 Olympics, when we came out with gold, the Nigerian team were known for beautiful, free-flowing attacking football. But you see, particularly one of the problems we have with General, but the only thing that happened under General was his football was not exciting, but it was somehow getting the job done. But EU started coming out when we started discovering that when Nigeria started losing 1 or 2 games, Central African Republic came to Nigeria, beat Nigeria at home, and then people were now wondering, oh, can we trust this man for the big competition in the AFCON? Can we trust him for the playoff, the two-legged playoff for the World Cup qualifiers? And then head started, and then we must realize that when a team is still without a lot of talents, the coach has less problem. But you see, when you start having a lot of talents coming in, people that can actually do so well, then the weaknesses of the coaching team, coaching crew, begins to become amplified. And I think that was happening with the Nigerian Super Eagles. Because now we have, these guys are playing week in, week out, doing well for their clubs in Europe. And that
So what's the
many of them
when they
were
come
able
to the shores of Nigeria?
Now, so what I'm trying to say is, we don't have an identity. This thing, for instance, they came in Abuja. I saw that the playing pattern was route one. The defenders, the goalkeepers will just root the ball up, and this is not Super Eagles. This is not Super Eagles. These are players that put the ball on the ground. These are players that take on the opposition. Ghanaians were more at home in Abuja than they were at Kumasi. If you were watching the game around the 60-something or 70-something minutes, you would not have a clue who was looking for a goal. It appeared as if the game was going to go into extra time. There was nothing. Everybody was at ease. You didn't see that sense of urgency. You didn't see that bite that we were at home.
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
We have this mentality. Naija King Bang. Naija King last.
We know they carry last.
We know they carry last. Every Naija made, when I say Naija made in Nigeria, brought up in Nigeria, grows up with that mentality. Never say die. Even when you are dying, you are still
struggling.
It's not over until it's over.
When you are born Nilo Yibo, you don't have that never say die mentality. So it is clear that what is affecting our game is that we have a crop of players that are not the die-hard normal Nigerian blood when it comes to ruggedity. Nigerians can survive. Look, there's hardly a country in this world where you go to, you will not find a Nigerian. Even in the coldest areas of the world, Nigerians are survivors. So when you bring in Oyibo made Nigeria,
They were born by Nigerians.
hold on. Angle that is the bane of what we are now. So it's better when you make up the Super Eagles Nigeria made, and then color it, strengthen it with this Oyibo in quote. When I say Oyibo, Nigerians in the diaspora, we can pick 16 players locally, about 30 trading them, but quality 16, and you bring in quality 10 from outside to join the quality 16, you make a good team. You build it over some years, 2-3 years, they mature. In about 2 years time, they mature. And the mentality of that never say die of a Nigerian, that was why Kaduwan, Kodejo, Kota, those guys were superheroes because they grew up here in Ajegule, in Benin, in Warri, in the or the sand, in the beach, where you have to, the water you are drinking is the one you are, and is the one you are using to buy fire. You know that you are rugged right from the day you are born. You are already a rugged person. Unlike somebody who has never seen a blackout. Never seen that. He has never run into a pothole. Policemen don't carry guns in Britain, except there's a crime. He has never seen it. He now comes to our stadium, he sees policemen carrying guns. He starts wondering, are we in a war situation? So having said that, for me, I think we should go back to the drawing board. When last did the NFF work on our youth development program? Domestic youth development program across the 36 states of the country, so that in 5 years, all those things, principals corps, youth fund, in those days, a lot of players that played for Nigeria went through youth fund, principals corps, and corps here and there. Those things are dead. If I were NFF president, my main program would be how to develop and discover and develop talents within Nigeria. Not this total concentration of bringing in. He says, I visited so person in England. That's what Pinnick will always tell you. I visited so person, I visited so person in Turkey. I go to so person in Russia and in Germany. How about our local talents here? If we develop them, they grew up with that Niger mentality and they become a plus, for us, and they help us to win into the World Cup. Now we have another 4 years. If we can start now to localize our developmental program, I think we can go to the World Cup in the next 4 years. But if we continue along this, line of bringing in Oyibo-made Nigerians,
especially Really, what Dr. Ida Peters, I did say that it's like the players got overwhelmed. They've not faced such crowd and all of the. Perhaps they were not emotionally fit for that kind of an encounter. You even did say that, it's, for instance, you're not asking him to face Nigerians and tell them something. What will he tell Nigerians? For instance, you're asking him where is this particular thing going on.
You don't
So
go to school to learn how to address people. You don't go to school. It's a natural thing. You either have courage or you don't have courage.
So it goes to say that they lack courage.
They don't have it. They don't have that Nigerian mentality facing difficult terrains. No matter the difficulty in the stadium, large crowd, whatever, a typical Nigerian may get jittery the first 10, 20 minutes. After time, the Nigerian spirit comes in. We call it Nigerian spirit. It's all over the place. It comes in. You want to excel. You want to be the best. You know, Nigerians want to be the best. And that's why, you know, all over the world, when we leave Nigeria, we may not be the best here. But you leave Nigeria, you go to Germany, you go to US, you see them excelling. They are outstanding, you know, because they go with that Nigerian mentality. So for me, I don't want to completely agree with Peter's side. You know, he's my very good friend. But what I want to say is, if we build a Super Eagles that has this local attitude and local mentality, perhaps, because it's God that can see into the future, perhaps we can do better than what we did now. Our glorious days were days when you had players playing abroad, but they left. Look at Osimhen. In the entire squad now, you see the mentality of a Nigerian in Osimhen, because he grew up in Odota. That he was hawking pure water. So he has the ruggedity of survivor. He wants to survive. If you watch them and compare Osimhen and Lukman, compare Osimhen and you know,
no, I think we are already castigating them just because.
No. Sorry. I'm not castigating.
Of what?
Hold on, my good friend.
Yes,
my good friend, you will have your time. I'm not castigating. Football is difficult.
Yes,
it's easy to talk. But I'm talking about mentality. You know, generally speaking. I'm just mentioning names to substantiate.
Still on the issue of that mentality. If you look at that game, the penalty Nigeria scored was won by Ademola Lookman. And if it wasn't based on his European training, he wouldn't have won that penalty. His small stature, his ability to maneuver around two defenders and then lure one of them into bringing him down was what got the penalty. Who took the penalty? One of the Oyibo boys. 2 seconds. So please, let's do you know that when some of these guys are invited to the team, for the first part of the initiation ceremony they do for them is they ask them to sing a Nigerian song. And some of them is unbelievable. The slangs they already know about the Nigerian people. Some of them is
but
just.
Does that affect their play?
No. What I'm saying is that some of them. What I'm trying to say, yes. Okay. Some of them you just realize that actually this person was just born there. He's as much as a part of us. Has anything. And we must not, despite all we need the homegrown here. We go to World Cup every year and they send us back home. The people who send us back home are the people who are in the Europe. I'm trying to say it is systems, technicalities that win you football games. And that day, we did not have it. Over the 2 legs, we did not have it. This coaching crew was inept. For instance, I'll pick specific things. Why did you use Seydou Sanusi, the left back, in the first leg? And of course, there was nothing wrong with us defensively in Kumasi. Why did you change your defense in the second leg? Why did you bring Bassi? The Bassi who was upgrown in Scotland. Bassi said he was struggling to breathe when he came on in the first leg. Somebody who said he was struggling to breathe, you used him to start the game in Abuja in a very hot stadium. Why did you do that? And we saw that he was slowing down things from the left flank. So I want to believe that going forward, I agree with what Oga said, that we need to look into raising up homegrown footballers very, very well. We need all of those things have to come up again. I feel it's been dying. And that's why a lot of our young people are going into drug abuse and the rest and so on. And I also now wish that we don't stop on the players. What value are we adding to our homegrown coaches? It seems to be dying. If you look at Nigeria now, you can only call a pool of 3 or 4 coaches that have been rotating around the Super Eagles. And of blessed memory, the late Keshi and Shoaib Amodu. we are not bringing up the new coaches. Argentina is closed by Scaloni. Another young homegrown coach. Brazil is closed by Tite. England is closed by Gareth Southgate. How many of our young coaches are we adding value to? Are coming up on the scene? We are not having that.
And then let's talk about catching them young, like you mentioned. Both of you agree with Dr. Peter's side on that one as well. If you look at it, it requires in other climes, they go to the schools, they make sure that they organize all of those tournaments and all of that. And then the universities also step in by offering scholarships, here and there, ensuring that these children have something to hold on to even while they serve their nations. Do you think Nigeria has the wherewithal to go that route? Especially with the fact that we're always talking about the socioeconomic status of our country at the moment.
Absolutely, there is the wherewithal. It depends on government, political will, the willpower, the desire of whoever is the head, and everybody will fall in that execute, when he said systems, I tend to nod until I now saw it. I thought he was talking about system, our system generally, globally as a country, until I noticed that it was with the team, So and I don't.
So when you
talk
talk
along that
systems,
line,
what are you referring
because he complained about players not being played. It might be injury, it might be sickness, because you are not in the camp, you don't know what internal problems they have. It might even be a player saying, "Oh, I can't play." What I stood all night. Players lie at times, maybe because he's panicky, So all those things you won't know, and nobody will come and say it.
Where does patriotism come into play then?
At times the players shake, So, but if we're talking our system, once upon a time we had a system in this country where there was Principal's Cup, recognized, celebrated. We had youth for tournaments here and there. A lot of our players, all of them went through youth for. Plenty of them. We had a system where there was National Sports Festival and football was competitive. We have so many systems, that threw up talents from our grassroots. We also had practicing pitches here and there. Some of these schools have converted their pitches for parties. Schools no longer play. When I was in secondary school, inter-house soccer tournament in my school was like a World Cup. Each hostel had drums, supporters club. It was in the field, in my field. I went to a Catholic school. It was celebration. It was like a World Cup. People come out dressed, we contribute money as students for the supporters club to come out in colors, and each house had a games master. All those things are dead. Schools no longer even care. Principals don't care about sporting activities in their various schools.
That this might actually be one of the things that the youth of today need to go back to engage
if
them.
we can get these youths involved, a lot of them have talents, but there's no facility to help them express and develop their talents. So by and large, let me relate this now to our Super Eagles. If we can develop a massive grassroots developmental program, not just for football but for sports, but let's zero on football because we're talking football now. And a lot of talents are discovered from the hinterlands that naturally wouldn't have an opportunity if nobody brings them out or showcase them. These boys will grow with the Nigerian spirit. So by the time my brother here exports them to Germany or Russia, that Nigerian spirit goes with them. They are used to NEPA taking light, living days without light. They are used to drinking pure water. You understand what I mean? Pure water.
Those are not the things we want to say.
Hold on.
But that's the reality.
That's our life.
That's what he's saying.
That's our life. They are used to riding on roads where it's gallop, bumpy. They are used to, yap. They are rugged. They are rugged. So right from childhood, look, Brazil that is excelling, Argentina have such resemblance to us too. Their life is not different from our life that much. So right from childhood, they are also developing. That's why Brazilians excel. That's why the Argentines, that's why you see those people excelling because they are similar to us. That's why Ghana too is okay like us. We are all the same thing. And most of those boys that played for Ghana played in Ghana before going to Europe. Majority of them go and check.
So beyond the can-do spirit, Nigerian ruggedity and ruggedness and all of that. I'm more interested in your assessment and analysis of the tact, the strategic ingenuity of the coaching crew as far as this match was concerned.
Before I respond to that, most of us have our children fenced up. Cartoon Network. I wasn't fenced up when I was young. From school, I dropped my school from. I'm on the street playing football in front of my house. They say, "Abo, your
next." Coming from school, even doing
you without eating, you're back.
Of course,
those things are gone. That's where our problems are. But tact. He was I don't want to use that strong language. I almost say stupid. He wasn't wise enough for Iguavon to try to change.
I think everyone
within a short
is
time,
really embittered.
Within a short time.
Dr. Peter said also struggled with
Raw was
using strong words.
Raw. All Iguavon needed to do was to look at the strong point of what Raw was doing, look at the weakness, try to redeem the weakness, see how he can, and the strong points use it. Because you can't change a team within a space of 1 month, 2 months, and it's not a team that stays together. They come in for 3-4 days, they are back. You know, and Raw had built something for about 4 years. You just come within 2 months, you start changing, tinkering here and there. It doesn't make sense. I think it was an error on Iguavon's part. Yes, he should have continued with Raw's approach, no matter how he feels about it, and gradually, you know, bring in his own philosophy, his own mentality, his own character into. For me, that was where he got it wrong. You know, that's not tactful enough.
Many have also taken a swipe at the leadership of football, as it were, in Nigeria. Some talked about political interference, some talked about ineptitude on the part of the leaders, some talked about inconsistency in considerations to professionalism. Are those not also
Dr. Peter
crucial?
Side actually
he also
about
talked about
the
that.
NFF being complicit.
The box stops on their table. You don't take football matters and say the box stops on Muhammad Buhari's table. No. He has put some people there. You know, he has released money. It's their table. The box stops on the table of the Nigerian Football Federation. And for me, they have failed. You don't win, you fail, you fail. There's no two ways to it. I'm glad that they apologized. I read Dr. Sanusi apologizing to Nigerians and to the government and so on, which is okay, because at times, no matter what you do, if you're destined to lose, you will lose. But all said and done, what we have been discussing so far, when you zero it to the NFF, they're still complicit. They ought to have looked inwards. Our developmental program, like I said earlier on, PDC has been there for about 6-7 years now.
2014. That's
it.
8
years now. And we cannot point to a proper localized program for discovery and development.
Which is key.
It's key. We can also not point to a re-engineering of our Premier League.
Not at all.
Our Premier League is, let me just not use derogatory words. Is not it. And the football of a country is as good as your league. Every country in this world, your football is as good as your league. And the caliber of players that form the nucleus of your team. Most of these teams that are in Europe that plays well is because those boys are in Europe, not far from their home. And they play their football based on certain environmental circumstances that they're already used to. If you watched our last Super Eagles, the last match, most of the players were holding their knees after the first half, fatigued, because they are not used to this weather. A lot of them were holding their knees.
Do you think the Moshood Abiola Stadium would have been the best place to have that match?
Dr. Peter said it could have been Uyo.
Yes. Or you don't think he played any part?
I don't think he did. I don't think the stadium matters, you know, because these are professional players. They should be able to play anywhere. It's adaptation, acclimatization and adaptation. You know, are you saying if you take them to the Middle East, they won't play? They will play. and Dubai, all those places, they are very hot. They will play. But I think we didn't. You see, some of these boys, it still boils down to the fact that they don't have it. Honestly.
This issue of being Nigerian bred.
If you are, even no matter how the sun, the rain, you are used to it.
Okay.
But all said and done, I think we should go back to the drawing board and, review, strategize, check out the areas where we have failed. Check out some of these things. Is about, let's look inwards, develop our league, develop grassroots football at the various states, and allow it to grow and, become the face of our national team, particularly under 16, under 20, and under 23. Some of those boys will now graduate, and even if they travel abroad, they already have the spirit, and the mentality of not being losers, but being winners, no matter the circumstances and environment.
Do you think, before we go, finally, do you think that we could ever get to the level where Nigerians will appreciate and support the foreign leagues as, we would do with our Nigerian players?
Yeah, we can get to that level. Some states now, and even in Akure here, people are beginning to come back to the stadium. What killed our football is mentality of win at home at all cost. Now you don't win at home at all cost. If you don't play well, you can lose. So people are beginning to see competition. It's becoming competitive, and what people want to see is competition. But if they know before the match that so team will win, nobody wants to come out and watch an already designed football match. But a football match that will generate some tension in you, and you are because you don't know which side can win. Then people will start coming back to the stadiums.
All right.
We can get to that point.
Again, let's
if we plan it well.
Otumba Akimbobola, former board member of the Nigerian Premier League and presently Director General Sunshine Stars and Sunshine Queens. Thank you so much for coming on The Big Issue.
Great pleasure.
And to you as well, Henry. Thank you so much, Henry Olonwoye, a sports enthusiast. Thank you for joining us on The Big Issue.
Thank you for inviting me.
Sunday?
Thank you very much, everyone, for being part of the program. It returns next week, God willing. Please enjoy the rest of the day.
It's been a pleasure, and we will be looking at another issue. Same time next week. Join us again. I'm Obi Chukwemeka saying bye for now.